You saying we should be recording now?
Yeah, let's hit that record.
The big red button has been pressed. I see little waves happening on my tracks.
Yay.
Do I have waves? Oh, the waves, they have come.
Disgusting!
Yes.
Gotta get that clean.
Apologies.
God, there's people swimming in this thing, man. God.
Who approved this?
This is worse than Caddyshack.
Hey, I'm Joe.
I'm Ken.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Dan.
And we're the Rewinders podcast. Podcast and rewinds so you don't have to.
Oh.
Or rewinding movies from our childhood to see if they stand up. And this time, we podcast so you didn't have to. The movie Stay Tuned from 1992.
With John Ritter.
And Eugene Levy.
Pew, 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 pew.
And
The blonde dude. What's the blonde dude's name?
Bobo Daniel Day-Lewis.
What?
Jeffrey Jones.
Jeffrey Jones.
I had to look him up. Apparently, he was a voice in Invader Zim, which was freaking cool to see.
See, I watched this, and then Tubi took me down a path of Jeffrey Jones movies. I guess all his movies ended up on Tubi, because then I watched Transylvania 5000, and it was a bad day.
Oh, was it?
It was a very bad day.
Okay, good thing I didn't actually pull the trigger on that one, because I saw it and I'm like, you know what? This looks interesting.
It was a movie to keep on in the background. Other than that, I can't say much.
I definitely forgot that we were recording today and got home at like 11 o'clock last night from being out and doing things. And I'm like, I got a movie I gotta watch. And then we watched this movie and I'm like, you know what? I could stay up, but it was after midnight and I was tired.
Yeah, you don't want to watch Transylvania 5000 after midnight.
So now, you patently love bad horror movies.
No.
Where did that one miss the mark?
I don't know. Okay, so it's got Jeff Goldblum as
Oh,
well, so I
no.
should love the damn movie. It has Ed Begley Jr. I love Ed Begley Jr. So you get him and Goldblum together, and you know,
It's
just
trash.
acting was terrible, script was terrible, the premise was mediocre at best, and just everything just felt so stupid and cheesy. You can tell it's a low budget movie, but damn, just damn, I don't even know where to begin. It's not good. It's not.
Well, good thing we're not talking about that movie.
No, but now I'm worried that there's like this Jeffrey Jones like slide, and like we could very easily
Stay off the Jeffrey Jones.
we could
slide.
very easily.
Not go on.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a reason he probably won't be back for Beetlejuice 2, but we'll not bring all that up.
It's Beetlejuice, good sir.
I'm excited.
It's not Beetlejuice 2.
Okay, Beetlejuice, but we could go on a Jeffrey Jones career movie timeline and rank from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, because it feels like there's a lot of content to sift through.
No.
Fine, Joe, I'm starting my own podcast. I'm going to
Please.
start Jeffrey Jones all the way. And it's just, it starts with like Ferris Bueller or something up on top, Beetlejuice, and works its way down to Transylvania.
That's where I know this guy from. All those other movies.
Yeah, he's Lydia Dietz's dad. In Ferris Bueller, he's the principal.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of stuff, but yeah, there's reasons he hasn't been in much in a long time.
I believe he's associated with the college in Appleton.
Really?
Like he's a graduate from there or something.
Hmm.
Does anyone have a history with this film, or did we just take it on because someone asked us to?
I never even heard of it.
There is one scene in here that I have a vivid memory of from when I was young, and it is the knockoff Wayne's World skit.
Exactly. Same.
And I don't remember where I saw it, but I remember watching it and being like, what is this from?
Yes, the red hot poker camera and the eye trick, whatever, has stuck with me since whenever I watched it the first time. I remember watching it younger, laughing a whole bunch about like just stupid stuff, but I didn't remember a lot of the in-between stuff, and I was thinking as an adult that I didn't remember that in-between stuff just because it was so mid that I wouldn't have a chance to remember it. There's no reason to remember it, and I was right, but going back and watching it now, I just realized that the stuff that was funny was also not funny.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
Sorry. That's my history is I remember watching it and thinking it was funny, but not remembering why I thought it was funny, apart from the red hot poker camera.
I think the only thing I've ever known about this movie is famously that it has the Chuck Jones animated segment. That's it. So
Going through and watching this movie, I I have this like tiny little itching memory in the back of my mind that I've seen this film in its entirety, but I have no front of the memory recollection of this movie in its entirety. It's so strange.
Yeah. It's the same with me. The whole first quarter or third of the movie, I just was assuming I never saw it before. And then when they got to the northern overexposure section, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen this. And then everything from that point on was like, oh yeah, I've seen this. I remember this. I remember that. This was weird. My brain just gave up on that first quarter of the film.
Because that's where all the build-up plot happens. You need to know that in order to know why they're in the TV.
So, if you haven't seen the film, stay tuned, from 1992. A quick summation of it is, there's a horrible husband with boring kids. And this husband is going through apparently a midlife crisis, and it is showing itself by he cannot do anything except watch TV. He is totally incapable of any other activity in his life or care for his beautiful wife. And then apparently some demon or devil comes up and suckers him into a fancy TV get-up with a satellite dish that he'll get 666 channels that they can't get anywhere else, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, his wife almost leaves him. They get sucked into the devil's version of all these things on TV, and they have to survive 24 hours to be redeemed, and not lose their soul to hell, apparently.
Yeah. And just to clarify, because I saw so many misleading synopsises of the movie that tried to say that Jeffrey Jones was the devil or he sells his soul to the devil. Jeffrey Jones's character Spike is just an emissary of Satan. So you never actually see Satan in the movie. They just refer to him constantly.
You never see Satan. Yep, they just reference him in like the big guy.
I'm assuming he's just so bored that he has all these emissaries making him a TV show that he can constantly watch, and that's the only thing he cares about. I don't know.
So in that vein, okay, so you go to, let's say you go to the Verizon store and you sign up for a cell phone contract and you sign away. Do you sign your cell phone rights away for the next 2 years to Dan, the Verizon clerk, or do you sell your soul away to the devil?
The devil, yes.
So you can still sign your soul away if you're not signing it directly to the devil.
That's true.
The devil's busy.
That's true.
Devil's busy. There's a lot of souls to sign.
I'm just going to cut to the chase. What did you guys like about this film?
The attempt. The attempt. The whole thing feels like, I don't know, like a Simpsons written episode or like
Treehouse of Horror.
Yes. It feels like there's so many things that could have worked and should have worked, but for some damn reason they didn't. And that's, I love it.
I hope you're using the word writing lightly.
Okay. I mean, you can tell there's a lot of like good effort and thought that went into some of this stuff. And there's a lot of things that I was really excited and thought like, that's funny, I'm going to laugh, and then I didn't.
There's a lot. I feel like this movie was written on the back of a napkin in a restaurant one afternoon. They didn't go back and do any rewrites, but some people had some punch-ups on the day of recording, and they just happened to have a couple of gems that were really funny, and what they really did was just have a whole lot of puns for shows.
This came out after UHF, right?
Yes.
There's a ton of TV trope details in this film.
Yeah.
If you are like actively looking for little details or like references to other TV shows.
Yes, and that's what I love. There's so many little things.
I say, if you're looking for the humor, the devil is in the details.
Oh, you.
That dad joke is better than the film.
Okay, there was one part that I did actually gut laugh about, and it's the only part that I actually had an outward audible laugh to, and that was the Three's Company bit, because holy shit, it was perfect. I didn't expect that.
It's a meta movie. That's all it is.
It is a meta movie, and it is definitely a product of its time, because there's a lot of shows that, like, even growing up in the era this came out, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that. What the hell is that? I've never heard of that before. There's a constant mix of that. So unless you really were watching TV or really know about the shows of this time frame, that's that.
Oh yeah, then this movie is going to be confusing as all hell.
Yeah, like who remembers Northern Exposure? Like that's going to be a bit of a stretch for I do too, but that's going to be a bit of a stretch for like people watching it now. And, okay, but we're supposed to be talking about things we liked. Okay. Liked.
Yeah, we'll just hold on to that when we get to the does this movie hold up section.
I love John Ritter. I love John Ritter and everything he's in. The dude was a comic genius in terms of everything he was in. He could make almost anything watchable. I miss him dearly.
He did a great job of making you hate him.
The animated scene, I could watch.
Oh, for sure.
Entire TV
for
series
sure.
of that.
For sure. There's a reason why that's the most famous and remembered part of the movie. Like, it's just that well done.
Yeah, I think people might even take that out of the movie and be like, this is by itself. I don't remember what it's from.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, no,
because it's so out of place.
I've seen Reddit threads and stuff like that where people are like, what movie is this from? And it goes down the rabbit hole. Yeah. For sure.
But along the same lines, I think what I like about this movie is just how there's a lot of things that look really good in it. There's, the animated sequence is gorgeous. Dwayne's World, the makeup on
everybody,
Dwayne and whatever, like the rotting flesh looked great.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really cool looking things.
Their CG was good for the time too.
Yes. Like when people shattered and turned into pieces and things like that. Like it looked great. And Eugene Levy. I'm going to give a huge call out to Eugene Levy because yet again, another movie he makes watchable because he's funny as hell and I love him in this.
And when you mentioned the places that you laughed, I wrote down the two because they stood out. I had a stifled laugh at the different strokes just because of how dark it was.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was so...
That made me laugh so hard.
Katie was watching it with me, and she's just like, did they really just... And I'm like, they sure did.
Yeah, that one went far, and I was like, hey. Because sometimes I get sick like that. And the other one that I had a stifled laugh at because I enjoyed it was in the nightclub after the mobster says he's going to take over, starts shooting. Everyone stands up from the opposite side with a Tommy gun and fires back. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's the like, little like
that got an audible laugh.
That's the little details that I was talking about.
Yep.
There were a couple of lines that gave me a chuckle. Roy saying, "I didn't know this was part of the deal. I thought I was buying a TV." Was one. Yep. Or during one of the final scenes in the French Revolution episode, Roy, you have boobs? Ah, they're not mine.
Yeah. I did laugh at the soldier's comment too. I would have bought you chocolates. Like, just it's a good throwaway line. I had to go back and watch Different Strokes, the segment again, just to laugh.
And that's what I'm talking about, devils in the details. Like, there are a lot of really good throwaway jokes that they just get trampled by the rest of the movie, and the bravado they try to bring to the movie, that where the comedy actually is in those underlying things that you just don't get a chance to notice.
It is. I want more Rick and Morty interdimensional cable or, UHF commercials. I want more of that. And there's a fair amount in here, but it's like there's not a balance between dark or too dark or too absurd or completely surreal. It's so wildly different between each individual segment that the jokes either are flat and dull as hell because it's like the lowest common denominator comedy. Like they just reach for the laughs in some of the stuff, but then there's some that unexpectedly hit, like Different Strokes.
What I do like about this movie is John Ritter experiences character growth. Or, I guess, is it character shrinking because he goes back to the man that she first met when they got married?
That's tough.
Is that more of a renewal than it is a shrinkage?
It was cold!
We have to ask George Costanza for this one. Oh, man.
I also really enjoyed seeing the captain being the wrestling commentator.
What?
The reason why he stood out to me is not because of his time being an actual wrestler, but his time in the WWF when he was a manager. Plus, he also was Mario in the Super Mario Brothers TV show.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Oh. The animated, not animated TV show, yeah.
Yeah, do the Mario, that guy.
Yep.
Swing your arm from side to side. Oh, God. Oh, that can't hold up.
It can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we covered everything that I can think of.
How do you guys feel about that TV? All the TVs. That is a blast from the past.
It is a blast from the past, yes.
Seeing what they think is like in advanced TV back then, it's like so much not TV.
I know, it's not the TV itself that's advanced, it's all the shit that you can bolt onto it. Like, if you can make it this wild thing.
44-inch and 900 lines of resolution, but I bet it's still interlaced.
Yeah, you got interlaced back then, man. Everything's made for it.
I don't know. Progressive TVs didn't show up till the 90s.
This was 92.
Late 90s.
And he had to deal with the devil, so he could have Satan's bargain. You get the first P's.
It's half HD.
480p. Oh yeah. Nerd talk. Anyway.
All right, so I know we've been struggling to avoid it. What not so great about this
It's
film?
terribly disjointed.
Yes. Also, the jokes kind of feel like, instead of it being a cohesive structure, like we're talking like, you know, if a team that would like write Treehouse of Horror would come up with, where it's actually funny and it's well thought out, well planned out. This felt like just maybe like a whole group of people pitching funny ideas for fake TV shows.
Yeah, for fake TV shows. Yep.
And that's the biggest thing, is everything in this movie would probably be funny to different people, but none of it really sticks or lands because it's probably so specifically funny to one set of people. I don't even know where to start with this. It just doesn't feel funny. Like, most of the movie didn't land anything that it was trying to do. I didn't even smirk from half the stuff that came up.
Right.
Meanwhile, I watch UHF and I'm like busting at the side, where I watch basketball and like Roadkill Caught on Tape and things like that. It's like, when you do it right.
Yeah.
I'm going to laugh my ass off.
They've got the variety of stuff that they're looking for in UHF, but also you have a overlying like actual story that's holding the things together. It almost feels like that the TV is actually like more of a background character in the movie.
Yeah.
And the movie is happening in front of you. They tried to make the TV show the main character. And then they had side characters running through each of the things. They tried to make them main characters by giving them all that TV time at the start. And it took him way too long to realize that he watches a lot of TV so that he should know all the tropes already.
That's a very valid point.
The effort is commendable, but the execution just didn't make it, as you were saying earlier. And agreed, there's no cohesive, real... I mean, yes, the story is they have to survive for 24 hours, which actually equates out to feels like 20 minutes of actual time, which they rocket through that 24 hours.
Yeah, it honestly felt like this movie needed to be longer so they could draw out the different scenes, because the time,
or make the time
jumps,
not 24 hours.
Yeah.
Leave it 24 hours, but like the time jumps. They spent 4 hours in the game show section.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't need to be 24 hours. You set the arbitrary time, make it shorter. It can still be just as deadly in 6 hours.
6 hours, 6 minutes, 6 seconds.
You spend a half hour in the game show. You spend 3 hours in Northern Exposure. All you have to do is figure out how much time you need to play with, and then make that the time.
Yeah.
Or get rid of that element and have it based off of who's watching.
I like
so this
that.
is Hell Cable. Are the people that are not sucked in yet going to be supplying the ratings? Are demons supplying the ratings? Someone's watching this other than just using it as a mechanic. And maybe that then determines, oh, you're not pulling in, your meter is not filling up. That means we take your soul, something like that, where it's definitely movable and you can use the story to adjust that. Just don't make it a hard limit 24 hours and try to fit it into an hour and a half, hour 45 film.
I don't even, how long was that movie? It was like an hour and 20.
I don't know. I just guessed.
And I mean, the whole plot centers around the fact that if they just survive 24 hours, but they can lose track of them, they can legitimately lose track of them even in the control room. Why the hell don't they just like find a closet, lock themselves in it, and call it a day? But no, they got to go out in public and sit down at a table and still get recognized by people and things like that. Just go hide.
An hour and 28 minutes.
I mean, at a certain point, they didn't know that they could actually get out of it, because
Yeah.
John Ritter didn't actually read the contract that he signed.
But still, somebody in all the time that this is, for all of eternity, I'm assuming that this has been happening, nobody thought to do that. I mean, I guess not everybody has that information. You're right.
Murray thought to bring in his remote control and set himself up as a mob boss with a bunch of people with Tommy guns around, so that way
True.
he can't die. Let's talk about Murray for a second. How long was he in the TV show? Did he just decide to stay there, right? After Godzilla smashed his wife?
I
I
mean,
guess
It's a coping mechanism. Like you've watched your wife die.
Actually, that first part doesn't even make sense to me. So, the start of the movie,
that popcorn bowl was too
they
big.
get the knock. Jeffrey's come. Oh, that popcorn was so good.
I got so hungry watching this movie, man.
So Murray goes, answers the door. Guy makes him a proposition. Murray stops existing for that part of the movie. Wife is like, Murray, where are you? Goes outside, screams to the most terrible credits I've seen in a movie ever.
The music was a banger though.
I saw that credit. I was like, if it was in the 80s,
I wrote down 80s.
and let's say 82 to 85, I would have been like, yeah, this is gonna be great.
I wrote down these
But
are some
in
very
the
80s
90s?
titles, and then I remembered this is a 90s movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wrote down I hated the music. I legitimately hated the music to this movie, and I actually searched for who did the music just so I could find a face to hate.
The soundtrack for this movie has a bunch of interesting people. Salt and Pepper, Black Sheep, Otto and Cherokee, X-Clan, the Ultramagnetic MCs, Dr. Ice, Cool Mo D, and Bruce Broughton.
Should we talk about the salt and pepper segment?
I'd really like to finish up.
That threw me. That scene, that whole skit, like it feels like they filmed some other skit in there, but it didn't like test well. And they didn't have enough time to do anything else, so they just got Salt and Pepper to make a music video and threw the scene into the music video. That's the second thought.
Or almost like they're like, hey, we got Salt and Pepper. What can we do with them? Well, they make music. Let's do a music video. That's a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it was supposed to be a knockoff of MTV. It was HTV.
Yeah, Hell TV.
Yeah.
Kind of like, hey, we got access to salt and pepper. Do you want to use them for your movie? Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's think of something.
It's just out of all of the scenes that are in this movie, that whole music video scene seemed the least connected to the movie.
And speaking of circles, they set up the whole he knows how to fence, and the payout is so late and so little in the movie
Yeah, he opens the
that
fencing
it's
studio.
like, well,
I'm
no,
just kidding.
it's
That's a joke.
the swashbuckling
Yeah.
slash medieval
Thing.
where he sword fights.
It's not even 30 seconds long.
I know, it just was like the payout's not great there. And then we're supposed to think he's making tons of money in a big city running a fencing
Yeah.
club
Well-
for kids. He's not paying the rent with
I know.
that.
The second that popped up, I'm like, he is still not making the money for this.
His wife is the breadwinner for the family.
That's true.
That was a flat joke that just never went anywhere that they tried to make.
Yeah.
That she was the breadwinner and he was pissed off about it, but he always said that he wasn't.
Although maybe he wasn't. She just thought it was because they never actually follow up with what that actually was all about.
Yeah, it's just
They
it's
just
just
made
lazy.
a couple of jokes during the game show.
It's just a lazy
and then let
payoff.
it be.
Like,
It's just something to argue about, so that way they can show that there's real disharmony in this relationship.
yeah, it's just added in there for a little extra seasoning. But yeah, it is.
It's unfortunate.
It is a lazy setup and a lazy payoff. We've seen amazing ones. I just recently remembered in Top Secret, there's an amazing one. When it's done right, it's so good. Like, yeah, cool. He's playing around with a sword once, and just it's lazy the way that they set that up. We think back to Tremors, and it's like the cooler, the drink cooler in the general store.
Mm-hmm.
That coming back and being an issue later on. I was watching Top Secret last night. A throwaway scene where the German SS officer gets off of his motorcycle and ties it to a post like it's a horse, and you're just like, what the fuck? And then later in the movie, Val Kilmer comes outside and lets all the motorcycles go, and they all drive off.
Amazing.
There's master classes in payoffs from a setup, and this is not it. This is the laziest form I could think of.
I can only sum this up as being wholly forgettable.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I said, I just started watching it and didn't realize that I had seen it before until like a certain point. Because I'm guessing Eugene Levy. That's, I'm sure, what shook it loose.
Dude,
for me.
Eugene Levy's like an anchor in this movie. You can only tell where things happen because he's in the scene. Holy crap, you just completely blew this open for me. He's like a pinpoint in this timeline. Eugene Levy argues with Jeffrey Jones and gets kicked out. Eugene Levy shows up in Northern Overexposure. Eugene Levy shows up in the Middle Ages. Holy crap. If you didn't say that, I wouldn't even... Wow. No. Just wow.
Yeah, mostly forgettable film, but you know what really made me angry about this movie, and this is going to be stupid. They did that dog dirty.
They did. I was just going to say the dog is so happy and wants to play.
Never once wanted to attack those people. That dog just wanted to play.
I mean, there's a lot of crap going on in that backyard.
The ADR is awful.
Oh, can we talk about that too? Like, the biggest big bad in this movie isn't even Satan's emissaries. It isn't even a failing, like, marriage. The biggest villain in this movie is a satellite dish that nobody takes seriously. When they get zapped back and they're standing in the yard and they start to slowly walk back into their house, I would be sprinting my ass off to try to get away from the thing that just seems to randomly suck whatever it pleases into this hellish television world at any given time. Like, that thing just kicks off and just sucks crap into it. That's the real threat.
Because she hit it with a shovel. She fucked it up.
I guess, yeah.
I guess.
She hit it on a piece of metal that doesn't have any electronics on it or anything, so I guess it's a sentient satellite dish that's just pissed off that it got hit by a shovel.
Because there's a giant hellish mushroom that
no electronics there.
Looked like a satellite dish.
And maybe it has a hunger level too, because it eats enough to be satiated. Like, it devours a bike and a hat. And then, that's good enough. I won't keep trying for the kid that's still out in the yard.
Or his sister who comes out after ingesting the bike.
Yep. I won't suck the family up again that's walking inside the house slowly and not even looking at me. Oh, here comes a dog? Oh, yeah. Taking that out of the air. It makes no sense.
Or any of the daughter's friends when they're out practicing for cheer squad.
Hopefully it sucked up the kissing tapes of his sister.
Oh, God.
He was trying to sell her kissing tapes at the start of the movie
and
hijack the neighborhood TV so he could do so. Like, yeah, he's a super genius with TV and ends up doing terrible things with it. You could probably see some sort of parallel with that and current day tech geniuses.
Yeah, there was a big problem I had with that whole segment too. It's like the overused, overextended trope of kid who tears apart a bunch of random electronics and just pastes a bunch of random electronics all over the place. Saves the day. If I turn enough knobs and move enough levers, everything will fix itself randomly. Oh, we need more power? I'm just going to go steal it from the neighbor's yard, because that'll be enough.
Infinite monkeys, infinite typewriters.
Infinite monkeys. Yeah.
That kid also, to me, looked like what Kazoo Kid would look like a little bit older.
Good call.
Who is his actor?
I don't think any of us cared. We saw John Ritter and Eugene Levy and moved on.
Now we've hit on all the things I don't like about this movie. The rest of it's incredibly forgettable.
It really is. And the entire drawn-out ending segment between him switching to different things while his wife's got a train barreling towards her, there's no way in hell.
Oh, yeah.
There's just no way in hell. He spent like an hour's worth of time, if not more, in different things, and that train was so close.
There is way in hell. It is in hell.
True.
Andy, as you said earlier, I think people would be... I guess this goes into would I recommend it to people, and it's going to say no. I think if someone is interested in this kind of concept, I would first point them to, and this is... I'm saying it because it's these episodes by themselves, but as you said before, Andrew, interdimensional cable does the concept so much better, so much funnier, and it's complete improv.
There's an episode of Supernatural that does this, and it does it way better.
I've never watched Supernatural, so... This
is a trope movie of tropes. That's what it is. Because TV series does this whole gag. Once you've like, the TV series has like 5+ seasons, you get an episode that is like this movie.
So you're saying this movie should have been called Jump the Shark.
Yeah.
Where they literally jumped the shark by having John Ritter in Three's a Company.
I mean, that's...
They really went for it.
Nuke the fridge.
Nuke the fridge.
Nuke the fridge still makes me sad.
I mean, does it hold up? I'm going to say no. I think society's moved on so far that a lot of the things that the humor's based on isn't relevant and or funny. I don't think younger people are going to get 3/4 of the jokes. It's niche.
It's very niche.
I don't think it's...
It's definitely a movie of its time, and more than happy to leave it in that time.
Yep.
Hell, I understand most of the jokes, and it it just didn't do anything. It was
Maybe because all the jokes are too far removed from when they were relevant.
It could.
Maybe. But also, I just don't think it was all that well written.
No.
I feel like this is a movie that could be remade if we had the right set of producers and directors and actors in it, and it could be funny and entertaining. Like this was funny in funny and entertaining in certain spurts. But the in-between was just such a detractor.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that this is just a popcorn film that does not want you to take it at anything more than face value.
Yeah, I'm going to say
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
It does. But at the same time, I mean, if you're going to watch it, very few people other than who suggested this?
A listener suggested this. No names.
We're sorry. This listener likes this film,
I don't know.
By all means, like it.
or it's nostalgia for them, which I could get it. I could get that this could hit you at the right point in time in history, and it gets socketed into your nostalgia.
For sure. We all have those movies. I love Congo. Everyone I know hates Congo. Congo came out when I was a kid. Congo was adventure. It was action. It was just after, Jurassic Park and everything else. And I love the movie. I still love the movie. I know it has faults. I know it has issues, but everyone else I know who has seen Congo hates it with an unbridled passion. So I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Batman and Robin is my favorite Batman.
I cannot wait to bring certain movies up with you guys that are not great, but I love.
Yep.
We got to do them this year.
You know what is a good movie that I love that we haven't done yet? 1992. Oh, it was 92, just like this movie. 1992 Disney classic Newsies.
Oh,
I
God.
fucking hate Newsies.
You're obsessed with
Well, we also
Newsies.
still need to watch Escape from L.A.
Never.
Oh, yeah.
Just so that Dan
I
can,
will
can
quit.
cry.
I will quit this show.
You don't know how good it is. How bad it is. How good bad.
No.
Bad good.
The amount of, bile that I get in my mouth when you bring up Escape from New York, I would not survive the heartburn of
But I
Escape
have a
from LA.
t-shirt now.
That's fine. You can have your t-shirt, but no, absolutely not. I am not
Do you
putting
know how
myself
excited I
through
was?
that.
I made it a point to only buy XL t-shirts because I didn't realize that was a thing. And I'm 6'4", and I've spent my whole life buying XL and always having shorts be too short. And it's always driven me nuts. I didn't even realize there's this whole world of XLT. The problem with that is it's always basic designs or really popular companies. So Disney, obviously, yeah, you can buy 1 million Star Wars shirts in XLT, but I don't really want Star Wars shirts. So finding things that are specific that I like in XLT has been a challenge. So when I saw that there was an Escape from New York shirt, dude, it was my life.
The big difference between New York and LA is New York tried to take itself real serious.
Massive quality difference. LA is I don't even know what the hell went wrong with LA.
Nothing went wrong with LA. It is a piece of cinematic history.
Oh, shut the hell up. It is not a good movie. It is a terrible, terrible film.
Did I say it was a good movie? I said it was a cinematic history.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It is cinematic
It happened
history.
in cinema.
Yep, it is a film that happened. We can acknowledge that it happened and it exists.
Just like this film.
Yeah.
So that was us switching the channels until we find something moderately funny by watching Stay Tuned. If you like the show and you want to keep listening, subscribe, encourage others to do the same thing, I guess. It's cool. We'll be here anyway. This is a hobby. And in fact, next month, we'll be back with Kiki's Delivery Service, bringing back the animation.
Mm-hmm.
Come back next time when we rewind again.
You know how bad this movie is?
It was good and solid. What more did you need to say about it?
This movie is so bad that the child in the movie who's turning on the TV to watch this movie turned it off after skipping through a few channels because it was so bad.
That's very true.
Also, Murray, did he go into the thing as soon as the movie started, or did they wait for a while and watch TV and get sucked in like good people?
Like good
How
people.
fast did they get the satellite dish installed? Did they get a satellite dishes?
So many unanswered questions.
I don't know what the fuck happened with Murray.
He died.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, obviously he died. He got shot. His wife got stomped on by Godzilla or giant lizard monster because they didn't have rights to say Godzilla.
Yeah.
The questions.